everyone. I can't believe I'm doing book look number 363 today. Only 3 more book looks to go after this. Today's book look is an awesome series called The Keeper of the Lost Cities by author Shannon Messenger. This series recently made the New York Times bestseller list for children's book series, right along with Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, and Diary of a Wimpy Kid. My sister and I love these books so much, and we are so excited to feature them tonight. As a special added bonus, we had the opportunity to interview Shannon Messenger this morning over the phone, and we've included the interview at the end of the book look video. These books are about a 12-year-old girl in high school. When she gets taken away from her home, she learns that she is not a human but an elf with a lot of rare magical powers, including being telepathic. The elves are not like Santa elves but tough human-sized elves. In this new world, Sophie has to solve a lot of mysteries and problems in order to help save the world. I love these books. I literally read them all in about a week, and so did my sister. We both couldn't put any of the first 5 books down. The book tells a really powerful fantasy story that is full of mystery, suspense, danger, adventure, magic, twists and surprises, and secrets. The chapters are not too long, always leaving off at a very cliffhanger or hooking part, which always made me want to read more and more. I also love how this author puts a new, cool, and powerful twist on elves, not just the teeny tiny ones. The series also seems so great because each book does not have a slow start, then jump into it, but it jumps right into the action really fast. Another thing I love about this book is that the characters are also interesting and unique, and you really get to know them and they feel so real. It's like the books tells a really great main story, but also the story of every separate character. I really love the main character, Sophie, because she's always jumping into doing things that are right, even if other people are like, that's too dangerous, leave it to the adults, or even sneaking off and doing it anyway. She is so brave and adventurous and just a really good person. And I think one of the most likable characters I've ever met in a book. These books have so many themes, including friendship, love, doing what's right, and figuring out who you are and where you belong. This series is one of my sister and my most favorite series ever, and we've both read a ton of series. These are definitely must-have books for upper elementary and middle school patients at Chalk Children's Hospital. So it'd be great if the whole series could be donated. And here's the interview that we just had with the author, Miss Messenger. Please listen. She had lots of interesting things to say, and she is super cool too. Thank you. Hi everyone, my sister and I are here with Shannon Messenger, the author of the Keeper of the Lost Cities series. Today, we are featuring this awesome series for book look number 363, and we are so excited to have the opportunity to ask Miss Messenger a few questions. Thank you for agreeing to talk with us. When in your life did you know you wanted to be an author?
Oh, I actually didn't know right away. When I was your age, I really wanted to be an artist. And so that was my focus all through middle school and high school, even into my first year at college. I started college as an art major. And I realized that I couldn't draw the way that I wanted to. I'm really good at what's called rendering, which is if I see something, I can draw a pretty exact copy of it, but I have a really hard time drawing from my actually came out on the page. And the professor of that class, when I turned in my final project, instead of giving me a grade, she gave me a note and wanted me to meet in her office hours. And so I went to meet with her, and what she wanted to talk to me about was film school. And she had film school brochures, and she just said, you should really pursue this. There's something special about your writing. So I did. And so I was actually a film major for the rest of college, and I graduated from the USC School of Cinematic Arts, and I worked in Hollywood just long enough to realize that I hated it. And so it wasn't until after that that I sort of had this moment of like, how did I get here? I hate this so much. And I realized it was because I had liked to write. And so I started thinking about, well, is there anything else I could write? Oh, hey, there's those book things. Which, once I tried that, it was such a natural fit that it was kind of like I should have known it all along. I don't regret going on that journey because I learned things that I wouldn't have, but I wish I had known how much I loved writing books. So it wasn't until my 20s that I knew that.
Whoa. Do you remember what your favorite book was when you were a kid? Do you have a favorite children's author or book now?
When I was a kid, because I'm old, I was before a lot of really, really good books. Like when I was a kid, it was before Harry Potter even. So I didn't find that many of the kind of books that I like to read, because what I like is that kind of fantasy stuff, and there wasn't as much of that around when I was a kid, sadly. But I really did love anything that Beverly Cleary wrote, especially the Ramona books.
Yeah, I read those too.
I loved Ramona the Pest, and I loved Ramona the Brave. I think those were my two favorites of all the Ramona books. But I love Ralph F. Mouse and Henry Huggins. I love everything by Beverly Cleary. And now that, I have gone back as an adult and read, I absolutely love all the books like Harry Potter and Percy Jackson and things like that. But probably my favorite that I've read in a while is Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine.
Oh, I read that book.
I'm a sucker for Cinderella, so.
That was one of my favorite books. When like a couple months ago, I read that book and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I loved it. And it was funny because when I went into reading it, I kind of thought, do we need to mess with the Cinderella story? Like, I love Cinderella as is. And then I saw what she did with it, and it was like, yes, we do need to mess with Cinderella. This is so much better. So I loved it.
Yeah. We both are loving Keeper of the Lost Cities. Where do you see your series fitting in with other fantastic fantasy series? Which ones would you compare it to?
I call the series Lord of the Rings meets X-Men because that's kind of where my inspiration came from. I was very inspired by Legolas from Lord of the Rings, and then I love how with X-Men it's sort of an ensemble team where they each have a different ability and they all have to work together. I love that idea. But I know those aren't really actually the same age range as what I write. I'd say if you're a fan of Percy Jackson, if you're a fan of the Sisters Grimm, if you're a fan of The Unwanted, if you're a fan of Harry Potter, any of those are right in the same zone.
All of them.
Anything by Brent Small.
We've read all of those books too. Well, my brother hasn't read Sisters Grimm, but we've read all of those, and we've loved all of those.
Oh, awesome. If you haven't read Sisters Grimm, you need to. It's hilarious.
I did. Ethan hasn't yet. When I started to read this first book, I got really intrigued because of the new species that you created. What gave you the idea to make that new intelligent elf-like creature?
It started with Legolas. I had never seen elves like that until I watched the Lord of the Rings movie. I was one of those lame people who had not read the books when I went to go see the movie. And before that, I had only seen elves like Keebler or Santa's Helpers or something, kind of these little tiny silly creatures. And then here comes Legolas, and he's just majestic and beautiful and powerful, and all the elves in Tolkien's folklore. And I thought, I want to write about those kind of elves. But I didn't like how Middle Earth felt so medieval
so you combined the Lord of the Rings elves with a new modern version with like inheriting magic, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's kind of it. And then I really sort of took a lot of inspiration from the X-Men. And all superheroes, really, because I love superheroes. I think it's so cool, the idea of, you know, these people who, they look exactly like us, but they can do things that are a little bit more than what we can do.
So in the world you created, it was just a little more brighter and more modern than the Lord of the Rings or X-Men, kind of.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Did you base the characters in your books on anyone from your life?
You know, I actually try really hard not to do that because I don't like to let anything influence the story. I like to sort of trust the story as I'm writing, and so the more things that can get in your head and make you think, that's not what this person would say, or, you know, that kind of thing, it can mess with things. Plus, I know that sometimes when you're telling these kind of stories, bad things have to happen to the characters. Sometimes they even have to die. And so if I had based them off of people that I know, they'd probably get really mad at me if I let that happen. So if anyone, when I was first creating characters, if anyone did remind me of anyone, I kind of went in and made changes to that character until none of them reminded me of anyone I knew.
Yeah, so nobody would be like, you killed me off in the story.
Yeah, it's not a good way to keep friends as an author, base characters off of people.
Yeah.
Sophie seems like a bright and likable person, and you seem like you are too. When you wrote this book and made up the characters, did you base Sophie around yourself at all?
You know, I think obviously they're all from my head, so all the characters probably have little pieces of me in them, but I feel like Sophie is way braver than I am. You know, it's kind of a theme in the book that people are sort of always telling Sophie, don't do the thing. The thing is really, really dangerous, and you're going to get hurt. And Sophie's like, but I have to do the thing. It's important. And then, of course, gets hurt and you know, finds a way to survive through it. I'm more the type that would be like, you're right. I shouldn't do the thing. I don't want to get hurt. That doesn't sound fun. I'm just going to listen to you guys. You know, I tend to play it safe. So Sophie is a lot braver. And, you know, I feel like that's one of her big defining characteristics is that she is so willing to take these risks to do what's right and resist these, you know, things that are going on that are causing so many problems. So that definitely makes her very different than I am.
Definitely. You've written 5 books so far, and a lot of these books have had cliffhanger endings. Why do you leave your readers hanging on in so many of your stories' endings?
You know, it's funny. I get this question a lot, and I swear it's not because I like to torture my readers, although, you know, that is, I guess, an added perk. But it really is because what I love about Harry Potter is so much, but there's one thing that drives me a little bit nuts. It kind of drives me nuts that in each book we had to start at Pivot Drive, and we had to go. She tried to put stuff in and have it happening at Pivot Drive, but it always felt like the story didn't really start until we got to Hogwarts.
Yeah, because that's where all the action happens.
I've been trying to avoid running into that trap, and with how long the books are, the beginnings of books, when they're this long, get really tricky because you have to do what's called catch-up for the reader of what's already happened, and so it's kind of hard to throw the readers in to a completely new situation and do catch-up at the same time. So my trick is that I end on where we're going to start so that it's not something new and it's actually not confusing for the reader when we jump into this moment. It saves me from having to do 3 to 4 chapters where nothing actually really happens and then it starts happening, but it does mean the give and take of it is that I have to kind of leave you guys on a cliffhanger. But I feel like it actually makes the book a lot stronger by doing it that way because then we can just jump right into the story.
So it makes it kind of keep going and it doesn't really have to stop between books.
You don't have to get bored. You can just be through the action the whole time.
Yeah, otherwise you have to kind of have a couple wasted chapters at the end of the book to sort of wrap everything up, and then you have to start with a couple of chapters to sort of ease everyone in, and it just makes the story feel really kind of slow. And so the cliffhangers allow me to sort of end without any waste and
thing I'm wondering about is Sylvanie has kind of not been that involved lately, except for Sophie's nightly check-ins, because she used to be like so important in the balance of the elven world. Do you think in the next book she'll go back to having a little more importance?
Which character was it again? I'm sorry.
Sylvanie.
Oh, Sylvanie. Yeah, it's funny how with the way of writing, you get into trouble when a character is kind of doing the same thing in each book. And Sylvanie right now is there's not a lot of new happening with Sylvanie. And so that's why there hasn't been as much Sylvanie in the books, because she's kind of set right now. She's, dealing with the surprise that she's never seen and trying to stay safe, and that's it. And there's not a lot of change with her. And so I had more scenes with Sylvanie planned when I was writing book 5, and they felt like repeats of scenes that I'd already done. So I left them out. And so it's kind of like whenever I have a character that has something new going on, then they come in. And if they kind of are set and not having a lot of change at the moment, then we might not see as much of them in the book. But you're not missing out on anything. It's just that they don't have anything all that interesting happening. But Sylvanie is, whenever I get asked who my favorite character to write is, Sylvanie is my favorite character. She is so much fun. And so, of course, I'm planning to get her in as much as possible. I just kind of have to wait for something new happening with her.
Yeah,
we get that.
Really bring her in. Otherwise, as much as you think, oh, we want more Sylvanie scenes, you actually read them and think, this is boring.
Yeah. We both hope that the series goes on and on. How many more books do you plan to write? Do you know now how the story will go and how it will ultimately end, or do you come up with the story as you write?
It's a little bit of both. I know a lot of the big things that the villains are going to do. I don't know exactly all of them because I don't always know how Sophie is going to get out of those messes. I just know that I will find a way, and that's sort of the discovery of writing, and the stuff that does make the villains kind of change their game plan a bit in the next book. So, I know exactly where I want things to ultimately end as far as with the villains and the good guys and all that kind of stuff. As far as how many books there will be, I don't know that for sure either, just because I tend to be a little bit overly ambitious when I start a book and think, I can answer all these questions, and then I get, to the end of the book and it's like, wow, I was really only able to answer this many questions, because there's a lot going on. So I know that I have 7 books under contract, so there will definitely be 7, and my editor has said that I can do as many as I want. So it just kind of depends on what the story needs. I want to make sure that each book is as strong as the others. I think we've all read series where the last book kind of felt a little bit flat, and it kind of felt like maybe they didn't need it to be 8 books, maybe they needed it to be 6 books. So I'm trying not to overly commit and say, I'm going to do 20 books and then not have enough story for that. But I also don't want to rush it either. So I'm grateful that my editor is kind of letting us go with our own journey and just sort of see what happens and what doesn't.
That's cool.
Your series has had a lot of success lately, even making it to the top 10 of the New York Times Top Children's Series. Does this success make writing your next books easier or more difficult? Is it energizing for you, or does it put more pressure on you? I'm curious how being on the bestseller list affects your writing.
It's funny because it's both. I mean, it's so exciting to be where the series is now, because when the series started, I was nobody. I had never written a book before. I was lucky to get a 3-book deal, because even that is really hard to get when you're a new author that nobody's ever heard of. And so for the longest time, it was only going to be 3 books, even though I knew I wanted it to be a bigger story. And then I went to my editor, and you have to sell the books way in advance. So we were selling book 4 when book 2 hadn't even come out yet. And so they were like, well, we can buy just 1 more book, but we don't know if we can buy more than that, because for all we know, book 2 and 3 might not do well. And that was the same way with book 5. They bought book 5 as just 1 book. But then when Never Seen came out, that was when everything sort of really shifted for the series. I could really see a difference. kind of hoped that if I wrote it down, that eventually people would find it and fall in love with it. So it's been cool.
I know we're kind of pushing the time limit, but do we have time for 2 more questions?
Yeah, okay. That's something I'll leave by 11:15. So.
Okay. Are you friends with any other children's authors? Do they help you at all in your writing?
I am. I mean, I'm mostly friends more with authors who write YA than middle grade. I mean, I'm friends with James Riley. He writes stories that he used in the Half Upon a Time books. They're great if you haven't read them. He is just my same editor, and we email each other a lot, and we're each other more for business questions because nobody teaches you anything about publishing when you sell a book, and you sort of sell a book and feel like everyone expects you to publish it works, and you have no idea what you're doing. So it's nice to have author friends to sort of throw ideas out and be like, is this normal? Is this what's happening to you? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm good friends
Definitely
with him.
helps.
I like Lisa McMahon and Brandon Mull a lot as far as younger writers, but as far as ones who read my stuff and everything, it's been more YA authors like Casey West and Tristan White and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
What advice do you have to kids who want to be an author someday?
My best advice is don't try to put too much pressure on yourself. I hear that from so many kids, like, how do you know when one idea is the perfect idea, and how do you get your book to be perfect? And it's like, well, writing is rewriting. For some reason, people think with writing that you either sit down and everything you write is like gold and brilliant, or maybe you're just not a good enough writer. And it isn't that way at all. Shannon Hale has one of my favorite quotes for the writing process. She said that writing a first draft is like building a sandbox and dumping in sand. And then after that, in revision, is when you build the sandcastle out of the mess that you made for yourself in the first draft. And so I feel like a lot of kids, especially when they start writing, they want it to be as good as the books that they're reading. And they get really discouraged when it's a mess and it's not as good as the books that they're reading. But the thing is, the books they're reading weren't that good in the beginning either. And even if you write some bad ideas, even if you write some books that are just terrible, every writer does that. They say that every writer has to purge 1 million bad words before they get to any good words. And I know that's the case with me, and I know that's the case with every other writer I've met. So just don't put too much pressure on yourself to be perfect, because no writer is perfect in the beginning.
Because it takes a lot of work.
Just make it your goal to keep going and stick with it. Because I also believe that the only difference between someone who's an aspiring writer and someone who's a published author is time and perseverance. If you keep at it and you don't give up, you'll get there.
Thank you so much for talking with us. We can't wait for your next books to come out. And we really can't wait to have your books for kids at Chalk Children's Hospital. Thank you so much.